And we are live coming from you the dirtiest South. Mr. Sale, Mr. Miko checking in a little early tonight from the Philly area. How you doing tonight, Mike?
Busy as usual, but outside of that, pretty good. Can't complain too much, but we can always complain about a little bit. I can certainly complain about the way the Phillies have been playing for the last month or so. I can't complain about the season because as of now, they would win the division, but things are getting a little sketchy. Your Arizona Diamondbacks have just owned them since Game 3 of the NLCS.
Yes, and I see Battery is in the house. I'm happy to say that my Mets have passed them in this weekend. I didn't see today, but they overtook him by third place. Oh,
yeah, I know the Braves. The Braves had even a tougher conclusion of their game today than the Phillies did.
Yeah, I was happy. I've been busy working. I just telling Mike I just walked in, sat down 30 minutes ago to eat. I got to make that Uber money for the Chicago show next year. So I put in a nice day of overtime. And I just want one thing. And I know I wanted to tie this national up in a bow, but I keep seeing it. Our buddies talked about it today. Cleveland was not that bad. With everything that could go bad, it was not bad. And to sit there and just dog it, everywhere has its problems. It's a big show. There's a lot of people. You just got to make the best of it. At least I wasn't scared for my life. Look, if we go back to Atlantic City, I'll be okay with that too, as long as I get to go to see cards and hang out with my friends. That's all I ask. I just wanted to say that real quick because I'm like Mr. Wesker Griff said today, I'm getting a little tired of some of the negativity about Cleveland. And it's some to be said, but not to where it should never be there again or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and like you said, and we've said in the past, like every place you have it is going to have positives, negatives. No place is going to be perfect. The reality is the hobby has gotten bigger and bigger as the years have gone on. The Nationals gotten bigger and bigger as years have gone on. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the classic, if you build it, they will come. It doesn't matter. You make the best out of any situation. So a lot of that is look at your own reflection and see why you feel it's negative. If you're not making the best out of it, some of that you have to own some of that. So that's my feelings on that. You can't sit there in one statement, want the hobby to be mainstream and want to bring all these people in and then be mad when they all show up. I don't get it, but that's just how it is. But everybody has their right to their opinion. I voice mine, Mike voices his, and other people do on their channel. I just wanted to throw that out there. But Mike, what I wanted to throw out there, and I would not tell you before we got started, have you seen anything about people getting because you buy wax, their wax getting checked by CT scanners to see what's in it? Have you seen?
I've heard people talking about it. It's been a big topic lately.
Yeah.
I don't know a ton about it. I know I specifically wouldn't do such a thing. And I know there are some services starting to open up that say they're going to start doing it. If you look at what they want to charge for it, and I don't even know how perfectly you can tell. I know they supposedly were doing some flawless stuff where you can. Obviously, the big hits in those are like sneaker cards and stuff.
Right.
But like, it's not something that I don't think anyone would do with lower end products. I think it'd be a problem for higher end products.
As soon as I heard a guy does Pokemon, he's starting to go into. I did buy some packs of the new Morcana this weekend, but he was asking me about it. I guess I was like, I don't know how well they could see. I've had a CT scan done before. Yeah, Boggs. Me too, brother. I feel like as much as it and hard as it is to get an actual CT scan in the real world, like for your head or whatever, uh, to just walk into a place and go, I want to get my car scanned by a CT scanner. How does that even happen? That's my question, I guess. Somebody's got to have some serious loot to buy one. I don't know. I can't. Hey, Bobbles, what's up, brother? I can't stand medical bills for myself. No way in hell I'll be paying to have some stupid boxes scanned. Exactly.
I mean, I guess the reality is it's always been this way. Unfortunately, there's always going to be people who are trying some way somehow to take advantage of stuff.
Right.
And that it's always, but you still see some guys from time to time in Walmarts or Targets or
Oh,
whatever
man.
playing with the packs and like
Right.
thumbing through them. I'm like, what are you trying to find, a relic card that's worth like $2? Like you could get a base card of a rookie that's worth more than that. Like what's even the point of doing it? But
Right. You see him weighing them with the little handheld weights. What's up, Hodges? Uh, my my thing is like, what's the next thing's going to happen? I want to see an entire box wrapped in 1989 Upper Deck foil packing. That's what I want to see. Stop it from being scanned. I want to see that. That's the future of the hobby right there. It's everything's going to be wrapped. Oh, we got Mr. Midlife Card Crisis right here. Dave,
What up?
what's up, brother? Uh,
what up, Dave?
What's up?
and
Commissioner
another,
Dave.
yeah, Commissioner Dave. Uh, yeah, Bob Boozle says, wait until the hobby finds out about people using psychic mediums to search for hobby boxes. No doubt. Hey, that would be like that. What's that movie back in the day? Killing a Goat or whatever it was called, where they were trying to, like in World War II or whatever, trying to do that. It's a movie. I know it's a bad reference, but
Yeah, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but I believe it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be based on a true story where people are trying to sit in a room and see like over in what plans. It was kind of crazy.
Speaking of movies, didn't I don't know if you even were aware of this. I remember at one point, and this is probably a year ago, hearing about there was some movie in development. I think Adam Sandler was going to be in it. And it had something to do with sports cards. I don't know if it was loosely based. Like, I don't know if he was supposed to own a shop or something. I just wonder if that's still on its way out or something. I haven't heard anything about it for a while.
I don't know. I don't know if this was a joke or what, or somebody was digitally doing it, but I saw Adam Sandler in some live action at playing Homer Simpson.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, Bobbles. The digital thing, I just I do that with Upper Deck some because it feels like you got a better shot at hits with Upper Deck digital. But what I don't like about it is like I want certain cards. Like I can't get like my base cards because I don't have enough of them put together to make it to the next level to send me my because I had some base cards I really wanted and that kind of turned me off of that. Going to watch some of JoJo's Psychic Alliance commercials. Just e-pack everything where the hits are able to be physical. Who was the group that had like a box they opened of football or something and everything in it was like a downtown and all that stuff? That was one of the breakers, wasn't it?
Yeah, one of the backyard guys or something.
Yeah, what the hell? So, Dave, have you heard anything about the CT scanning machines in your wax boxes? I know you don't do much wax.
Well, I heard, I think Sports Card Radio talk about something, but that's about all I've heard and looked into.
Right, and congratulations on your congratulations. Sorry, we have somebody playing games on our group chat. So, congratulations on your Max Scherzer.
Thanks.
Yes, that was awesome.
Yeah,
I
the
know you were
national
happy.
pickup arrived.
Yeah, you couldn't get it there. So we got Bobbles is the man. Okay, Zach. All right. He is a man. Yes. I don't know if he's the man. He's very close to it. Maybe standing next to the man that's the man. But I'm just playing with you, Bobbles. I hope you got Eric with you so he can pay for the like button and everybody hit that like. What's up, Amari? Zach. Oh, he is. Okay. So I labeled tonight like what's the future. I talked a little bit like last week, like little lull. Mike did a video today talking about a little lull on at least buying after when you have a big expense like going to the national or any even going on a vacation where you spend money and you come back, you might have to restructure what you're doing or what you're looking for. For me, it's more like where is my hobby going at this point? I touched on it a little bit last week, and I like to build on these topics. So for me, right now, I am, I started 2 more PCs. When I start those, I kind of get ultra focused, but these are more vintage for me. So it's not doable really for me to get as hyper focused as my Pete Alonso's, which I've gone back to being hyper focused again. But I am still looking for information. So when I go next week, I got a card show, or 2 weeks from now, a bigger card show in my area. But I definitely, I'm always evolving, and right now I'm changing. I'm selling a lot. I've turned a leaf. I even talked to Mike on a couple of cards. He showed me that I got SGC graded.
Flippers.
Yes. And Mike's calling me a flipper. And I'm not meaning to. I'm not buying to sell. I'm just selling what I have that doesn't really fit into my hobby. And I hate to say it, some of it I've learned from Mike, because when I hear Mike and I'm like, oh, what makes you sell? Well, I can't keep everything. Sometimes I got to sell. And Bobbles has said it. That's in the chat. He's been a big person on this. Some things you have to sell to get better things of things you want to get. Like,
here's also the thing, like that's
right.
part of growing in the hobby, but also the hobby is growing at such an exponential rate that there's so much stuff coming out. And even like for you, Alonso's, finding some of the parallels, and like I don't think you're as completist as some people. At least I don't think. I'm sure you'd like to have everything, but I don't think you feel the need to have every single rainbow, right? Because that at this point would be so difficult. Because there's so many products, it's so hard to get this stuff, and the prices of wax is so expensive that, like when I glance for certain things, there's certain players you can get dirt cheap still, and if you're patient with certain cards, you can get cheap. But a lot of like parallels and stuff have risen in price to a degree, and they're still cheap based on how much they would cost to acquire via opening. But like the hobby's just growing; they're making more and more new stuff, obviously, and as you grow as a collector, you start sometimes getting various interests, whether you get into a fit where you're into like stuff from your childhood, or if you're going back in the day, collecting some players from the 50s and then all the new guys and stuff. Like, again, unless you have not only unlimited funds, but unlimited space, sometimes you do have to make choices and kind of adjust with things.
So just jump on that real quick. So like for you, like Pete Alonso, I'm just on trading card database right now looking. Dude, there's over 12,000 cards already of Pete Alonso.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you do that?
Yeah.
It's almost impossible.
And I have 1,000. I'm almost pulling up on 1,250. And that's with me buying
10%.
Yeah. So, and that's with me buying a few every day almost. I try, and that's and you and I find beautiful cards right now. So I saw somebody post Omari. I've noticed he has eBay, so I've noticed my eBay sell have slowed since the National. Well, I've been saying it before the National. As long as you're not going after the Big Daddy cards right now on eBay, there's steals to be had as long as you're patient. I know if you get the brand new shiny stuff when it first comes out, you might have to pay up for that. But if you're patient and wait it out, there's cards to be had. I mean, I don't know, Dave, how you got your Scherzer, and I don't want to go too much into it, but you didn't find what you wanted at the show, and you got it afterwards. I'm assuming it was on eBay.
Well, it was going to buy it now for the price I wanted it for. I ended up paying more the shipping and tax, so I ended up paying more than I wanted to. But yeah, I just wanted that card to fill my National up, and it didn't happen there, so it happened 2 days later. And
yeah, battery. I got several of those. That card goes pretty well, almost probably just as high or higher in a high grade as his actual rookie card of that year. Let's see, Zach. I fight the urge to sell things because the change in taste. You know how many cards I sold 10 years ago for 30%. It's what? Yeah, and Zach, I can't really. When people sell, you can't look at it and go, because Mike talked about it on his video today, selling that guy. And I'm not familiar with him. The one you got the auto of, you sold it. Somebody else. Now it's more than what it was. You know what you sold it for, or whatever. Once you sell it, it's gone, right? Do y'all sit there and go, "Oh, I wish I had that card now to sell again," or Now
I mean, it depends what you're doing it too. Like if you're doing it from the business perspective, which is now what I kind of try and do, have like the eBay store for that. Usually, no. Like obviously, you don't want to sell something for $20 that's worth like $100,000. That's a big different story. But I do have stuff like when I was a kid, or like I have some stuff that I would want. So I was actually talking to our buddy Mike Fabian. We talked a little bit. We met a few days ago, earlier this week, real briefly. He was doing some family stuff in my area, and it came up. And so, like at the end of college, while I was in college, and money's a little tighter, I had to sell off some stuff that I had. And I, for some reason, had basketball in like 96 and 97. I had Tim Duncan rookies and Kobe Bryant rookies. I sold all that stuff. And I remember in 2020, I regretted selling it because at the time it was so hot. I could have sold things that I sold for $20, $30, $40. I could have sold for like $800, whatever it was. I don't even know. I'm sure it's way down now. I regret it for that, but I have no regret not having it because I could care less about having those cards in my collection. I'm just not a basketball guy. I'm not a basketball collector. I did have like Tom Brady cards that I remember selling off. And I remember at the time, because it's just the way the hobby was, I remember going, well, I'll just sell off some of these. I kept a few, but I sold some stuff. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, I'm just going to buy it back someday. And for the most part, most cards you could sell and buy back for a similar price. Obviously, those, massive mistake. If I were to buy them now, things that sold for $100 would cost like $4,000. Like those things exploded. And those I regret because I want them. I would like to have them in my collection. So it just depends what it is. If you're selling stuff that's not part of your collection, I don't think you're going to have those collector's regrets.
And I mean, Wobbles before COVID and during the boom during COVID, he was flying high. You just you're going to hit it and it's going to go up, especially when the time when the flippers are selling the flippers and again, or sellers selling the sellers. I don't want to offend, because I don't mean that. I've used that term all the time, and I don't think it's a bad term. Sellers selling the sellers. There was a lot of that what drove the prices up because eventually it's got to get to a collector, you would think, or somebody's closet. Well,
that's why I think certain basketball stuff crashed so hard because, like, it's my belief that nobody collects basketball. And by nobody, I don't mean no one. I understand people do, but I think it's a I think there's a much higher percentage of people who collect baseball and even football as opposed to basketball, just based on what I've seen.
One thing I saw. Go ahead, David. I'm sorry.
I was saying, I think like the collectors in the hobby, I think they're a lot of them are baseball, and football is a close second. But I think, yeah, you don't see a lot of baseball flippers. It's always the basketball, the Lucas, whatever other guys are hot. And
yeah, well, that's what I was going to. At the National this year, I saw a lot more basketball vintage than I have in the past. And I did see actual people looking for 70s, 80s, 90s basketball collecting, not, the new shiny RPA, flawless, all that stuff.
Well, I bet you some of those guys too are baseball and football collectors.
Right.
Well,
they just want the top rookies and stuff like that.
Yeah, and there's certain. I mean, if you're a big time collector of like kind of that stuff, you start running out of cards to buy.
Right.
Because you're not going after the new stuff. We're not going after 12,000 Pete Alonsos.
Right.
So if you got all the cards you want from like the 50s, 60s, 70s, maybe earlier, all right, what's next? All right, let me get into some Hall of Fame football. Mm-hmm. Let me get to these Hall of Fame basketball guys. Because you're looking for the top players that you grew up hearing about or watching.
Right.
So that's where you're going to go after. And so, yeah, going for vintage basketball makes a lot of sense for, especially vintage collectors.
Well, Brad says he has a regret. Not going to lie, I kind of wish I didn't sell my Mahomes Select rookie tie-dye auto 15 for $600. But I'm sure you flipped that into a nice merino or something like that. Zach says, I just had the mindset I'll sell to buy something else. I should have just saved and bought the next thing. I didn't need to sell the things to buy the next thing. That's where I regret it. Got you.
Yeah, and I have some cards like 2015, 2014, 15. Some like, I don't break a lot of boxes, but every once in a while I pulled some like an Aaron Donald, like platinum patch rookie auto, and a Stephon Diggs, and at that time they were like $8 to $10 each, and I think I sold them for pretty cheap. Like I think I sold them for about 20 each when I sold them, but like those are rookie-ish. They could have easily sat in my collection, but I think I sold them and bought something. I probably bought into a break or something.
And I'm sure right now on the eBay front and sellers, if you do have football, because it seems like the football craze really cranks up right now for buying, where it looks like baseball is more of a year round now, where it used to be, preseason is where it kicked up, but football seems like that's a very seasonal product. What do you think, Mike, with having a big store? I know you don't have a lot of football, but
I mean, I have football. I don't have nearly as much as I do with the baseball, but I still find I do sell some football for sure. But like in terms of like the low end, like goofy stuff, like, oh, I remember this guy. I think like the more common low end stuff, baseball's just so much stronger. Like football, you will sell some, but I just think football, there's a reason. I know a lot of people complain. They're like, oh, it's just the quarterbacks and the receivers and the running backs, but that seems to be what a lot of people just want. Even if you look at like football fans, just at least younger people that I talk to and interact with, it's like people have such a poor memory. Like baseball fans, I think, are bigger fans of the players and the sport. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm even saying it right. I think baseball is more personal. I think it's a longer season. It's 6 months. Guys' faces you see. More people attend the games. Obviously, people are huge, passionate football fans.
I'm going to throw this out too, Mike. Baseball has the richest history.
Yeah, but I think it has the richest history. I think it has the richest history of every year too. I think you get to know the players more because you're with them longer. The football guys have shorter careers and such, but it is actually stunning how forgotten football players are so quickly. Like, I mean, you think of how many really good running backs there have been in the last like 20 years, and these guys that just Chris Johnson, like unbelievable for a few years, completely
Right.
forgotten. Jamal Charles, and I'm not even talking about just the hobby. Like they're obviously forgotten in the
Right.
hobby. They're forgotten in general. It's like
Yeah, they have 3
stunning how
years and
quickly
that's it.
guys are forgotten.
Well, I think
Well,
it
I
also
mean,
goes with fantasy football.
yeah,
So like people collect if you're collecting football beside your teams, right? Your team guys you'll know. But like I know that I get excited about certain guys who are on my fantasy team. Like I'll start adding like, oh man, this guy did pretty good for me. I want to add get some of his rookie cards or something like that. And then you got to think those are all it's quarterback, it's wide receiver and running back, and then it's team defense.
right.
So you don't even get to know the players on the defense because you're not paying attention to those on a weekly basis.
Right.
You know,
Well, this is something Bobbles brings up, but David, you brought this up at right after the draft or during the draft. How many QBs in this year's product is going to probably be crazy when it comes out. I guess Prism with their lawsuit, are they still making it? I'm so confused on who's making what right now. It's because I know I saw something for Topps making something for NFL, right? Was it? Am I not?
Topps Composite comes out in like a couple weeks, but there's no there'll be no logos on this year's product. I think they'll have logos next year or the year after. I forget exactly.
Right. Yeah. So it's like this year, what was it? 8 quarterbacks in the first round or something stupid.
6.
6.
I think it's 6.
Battery, me and you the same way, running back, and then quarterback. Quarterback's job was to just not make mistakes. And I mean, Terry Bradshaw will tell you that his wide receivers made him. I wish there was more. I'm with you, Bob. I don't collect football. I don't buy football. I do buy some. I will get my Micah and stuff like that, rookies and some other players. I'll get my 80s guys. I'll get some of the triplets and Novacek. I buy Dallas Cowboys, and that's it. But the whole QB thing got me so turned off on the football craze, and the companies buying into that. Really, that's why I like baseball. They make a card of every player. There's going to, if the player, I mean, Mike, you saw it in the Platinum or whatever you just opened not too long ago, where a guy didn't even play on the Phillies team, but there's a card of him. I mean, it's like, baseball, they make cards of everybody. Football, you might get one lineman, you might get a field goal kicker, but that's about it.
Well, let's go back in history here to 2015 and the Taj Boyd craze of in every box. I had 15. I had 30 Taj Boyd autographs. I never bought one of them, but they were in every box. Everybody just sent me their Taj Boyd's autographs. He was in National Treasures.
Right.
He never even made the team. Like, how is he that big of a product?
Right.
That's the problem with football.
And
I will say,
point here. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna really quickly put the most expensive base rookie cards in football most of the time, funny enough, are the guys you wouldn't expect, because we always talk it. They only make the quarterbacks, the running backs, the receivers, but some of the most expensive base cards are Hall of Fame caliber players that kind of do get forgotten. They get a very limited run of rookie cards. That's why a lot of the Brady rookies are expensive, besides the fact, how his career turned out. It's because he was not expected to be much. So he wasn't in every product. I mean, he's still in a lot of products because they made so many, but he has a lot of rookies where it was just limited to like 1,000 and such. But Jason Kelce rookies, expensive. Adam Vinatieri rookies. I don't know if any of you have looked them up. It's in some was it 95 Philadelphia or something? They're I think they're close to $100. So you will have some of these guys. There's other players as well. Some of the defensive players, some of the offensive linemen that actually carry premiums, because people probably trashed most of them, to be honest. Back when they came out, thought, oh, this is a nothing. They got lost in closets, basements, attics, wherever.
Well, when I was doing my spreadsheet, right, there's usually about eight or nine rookies. They make them in every product, every single insert, everything. And then there's about, usually I think I keep anywhere from like 12, I put like 15, maybe 18 rookies on the sheet. But then, like I said, only 8 of them are in every set. Then the other 10 are kind of here and there. Those are the guys are going to be, if they make it.
Right.
They're not in everything.
Right. And yeah, that's the tough part of it all is like, a handful of guys here and there. I love my offensive linemen. When I collected basketball, love basketball. I like the big men, not the less sexier guys, the rebounders. So it's tough out there when you don't, like the mainstream. But again, I go back baseball. You can collect the guy that comes off the bench and gets a pinch hit or just pinch runs for your team. They're going to be out there. So we got a few things here. I just want to catch up on it. Brad said he remembers Deuce McAllister, which Deuce had a good time.
I got an autograph from last year, like a patch auto.
Yeah,
book. It was awesome.
Deuce is on the list, man. Bobbles, he's talking about more along the lines of prospecting, where you're looking for the next Jordan or Brady, which makes sense. Card cutter. How you doing, Garrett? Yeah, Zach says to what Mike said, you get these hot players even if they don't pan out. No way that the card is going to be worth that in 3 years. Just don't get it sometimes. Yeah. This whole phenomenon that we had right before COVID and through COVID, it's kind of slowed down a little bit, where people are going nuts over the rookies, just on some of their bigger cards. The base cards and stuff are really slowed down. I've noticed, but at least in baseball, I can't speak on other sports because I don't look at the cards, so it's hard for me. Paul says he likes collecting middle relievers. I believe that from Paul. I like Mike's approach to collecting. He's blessed with a team that has tons of years behind it, but I think just simple team collecting is one of the best ways to go about. I get mad at him all the time, Bobbles, because he could go all the way back to 1800s with his team. It's got such a rich history.
I can't imagine trying to collect like Marlins. You'd finish that setup in like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
even though at this point they've been around 30 years. But
yeah, that's right. And then so here's my question: if you were a Washington Nationals fan collecting like Mike O, do you collect Expos? I see people that do Twins, and sometimes they get like Senators cards or whatever, Rangers and Pilots or whatever, Seattle. I always wonder, like with those team collectors like that, do you go back to before that team?
Probably not on the Expos versus Nationals.
Right.
I wouldn't think, because maybe if you're an Expos fan and when they moved to Washington, you still followed them because the same players are still on the team, that could be a possibility, but I can't see Nationals fans going back and collecting Expos. But I could be wrong.
It'll probably be up to each individual collector out there, I just saw something that Paul just posted, and I wanted to show him all the Cliff Floyds I picked up at the National. Because I like Cliff Floyd. I liked him with the Mets.
But there's so many guys like that. That's the thing. Yeah. Like, people get so hyper focused, and if you just got into the hobby and you watch whatever videos are pushed your way by like the bigger channels, you would think there's like 10 guys that you're allowed to collect. And the reality is And like, I get it. People want to do their sets and you have to have limits. But like, to me, I could never be someone who only strictly collects one thing. I only collect Hall of Famers, or I only collect rookie cards and stuff like that. Like, there's so much variety, so many cool things you can add to your collection. And like, there's been so many players that have played in baseball, and every one of them has made an impact on someone, somehow, some way. Some of them, might have only played a handful of games, and the impact might be really small. Maybe they tossed a ball to a 6-year-old at the kid's first game or something. But like, every player is a story, and that's one of the things that's like really interesting about collecting some of these pre-war guys. There's some guys who played like 18 games that for some reason were just in the right place at the right time, and they got in one of these old sets. They were at the photo shoot or whatever. And it's cool to do a little research and kind of find out about them. And even if you make up half the stuff, thinking about like, oh, well, did someone in my family, like someone I'm related to, did someone see this player play in a game, 80 years? Like, there's cool things like that. But we focus on all these. There's so much focus on the future guys, which people, I mean, that's a tendency. We always look forward to things, right? Which is, it's good to look forward to things. Like, we're always going to look forward to the next national, but at the same time, you want to reflect on things and you want to live the current things. You don't want to wish away your entire life,
Right.
Which I think some people have a bad habit of way too much focused on worrying about the future. I can't do the prospecting stuff the way other people do. Like, I would rather spend $400 on an autograph of a card in 5 years than spend $40 on 40 cards, that these guys don't even make the big league club. But there's so many players out there that were really good players, like your Cliff Floyd.
Well, remember, it was
pretty
a
damn affordable.
Year. I think it was Chicago, like 2019. I think we're all sitting over there by the Topps booth, all like tired, and someone came in. Oh, I found a bunch of some fan favorite autographs in one of these boxes over here. I got super excited, jumped over there, and I think I put like Andy Van Slyke. I was like, it was like $10. I'm like, because I liked that guy growing up. So I was super pumped to find that autograph at the National. It's $10.
Right.
We always talk about the Kevin Bass autograph I picked up after the Ken Griffey Jr. And I was excited to get it. It's Kevin Bass. No one cares about him, but I'm going to grab that for $5. I'm going to grab that for fucking $5.
Yeah, that's why I like when I found that table of cheap in-person autographs or TTM autographs. I was so happy. I mean, same thing buying cards from Cardboard Chaos. Nothing he had was, he didn't have Mickey Mantles or anything, but he had UVA players. He had like obscure Mets players. I was happy to get those because I don't know where else I'll find those. But Bowles, this is interesting. So he says, is it the same as saying the Senators or Nationals, even though they're not connected at all, other than playing in the same city? But I did go to a Nationals game a few years ago. It was a throwback game, and they wore Washington Senators uniforms. Just want to throw that out there because I have the hat from that game, and it's an old Washington Senator style. So Battery says it's easier to appreciate Milwaukee and Boston, but he doesn't see those cities, people pulling for Atlanta. It's true because they have their own teams now. Let's see. Isn't the Expos and Nationals different? Like Sonics changed the OKC Thunder, but Sonics could still come back. They could probably pay them. But the Expos are the Nationals. When you go to Nationals Park, they have Expo stuff there. Players' uniforms are retired. They have Expo stuff in there. They wear Expos stuff every once in a while as throwbacks.
Well, the Sonics are the Thunder.
Yeah,
it's the same thing. They just moved and changed the name.
Right.
Now, the only thing weird would be like the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, the Browns,
who became the Ravens, and then they brought an expansion team back called the Browns.
Well, when they moved, Cleveland made them. They had to. So when you look at the Ravens' history, they start with the Ravens. They don't have. Yeah. So the Cleveland Browns took that back. That was part of the move there. So I don't know what was in the move for the Sonics. I was upset because I like the Supersonics. So yeah, Bobbles, I feel your pain on that. If you could find a non-Hall of Famers but team legends and you're in the top 1-2% of that player's cards, those are the best cards to flip. Team collectors will pay you, and you can generally buy them for nothing. Yeah. They have Senator stuff painted on their mural around the stadium too, but as a collector. Yeah, I got now you said it. Right. Let's see. Battery on a I can't even note. I learned during a Braves Stadium tour that Nike only permits each team to have 5 distinct jerseys this season, so the Braves couldn't wear a throwback jersey this year. See, that's horseshit. That Nike controls what teams wear. That's such bullshit.
I guess you pay the big bucks for it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, a Battery. I think that Atlanta has the best City Connect because it's an actual connection to their actual. I wish the City Connects made more sense because I actually like the Mets because the City Connect that the Mets wear has a connection to where they play at in New York City, like what train, the bridge, all that stuff. Philadelphia, if you're a lot of people in the state in their city doesn't even know that's the black colors. I didn't know. And then to come find out it's not even the right colors. It doesn't match. So,
silly.
Nike does what Nike wants to do. Does Mike have any affinity toward Oakland A's players? That's coming from Joe, Dr. Exclusive.
I mean, I don't specifically collect Philadelphia A's stuff. I will collect Connie Mack stuff because there's some slight family history and he's a Philadelphia icon. It's not that I appreciate Philadelphia A's stuff and I will keep some stuff and I have some in the collection. I have a cool Jimmy Fox and some stuff, but I don't seek it out. I kind of stick to the Phillies stuff. I mean, I do appreciate their history and would have been cool if they stuck around instead of jumping off to Kansas City for about 10 years before moving to Oakland before getting kicked to the curb there by their shitty ownership. But
right. Then they're going to be the Sacramento A's and now.
Well, they're going to officially be known as the Athletics. They're not going to attach their name to the city, which is silly.
Oh, really? They're just going to call themselves the Athletics and that's it?
Apparently, that's what they're going to be officially.
Because they're just going to be wandering around because Vegas doesn't want them.
Yeah, that's just a whole shameful situation. The owner's a scumbag.
Yeah, Amari. So if they ever get to Vegas, who knows what they're going to do? But it seems like they're not going to go because they can't raise the amount of money that they need to have and an owner can do it 10 times over, but he will not do it. He wants investors to put in. That's why he's rich.
Dude, he just needs to get the stadium have a casino attached to it, and they'll be good to go.
Well, and that's the other thing is they want to do it downtown. Vegas doesn't want to do it down on the strip. They want them to do it off the strip, but still have it in downtown area. It's such a mess. So when Travis Denard hit 3 homers in a game, MLB tagged his jersey, and he had to continue to play in it until they made a new one. Then he gave the jersey to the club for posterity. Yeah, see, I mean, back in the day, I still don't like their jerseys. The names are too small on the back. They look weird.
Travis d'Arnaud, former Phillies farm man.
They need to, Amari. They really need to. They really need to, because that owner is bad. I think Pittsburgh's owner needs to be forced out as well.
Cheap son of a bitch.
Even though they seem to be moving in the right direction a little bit, but we'll see in 3 years what happens with that team. They got a good core. They need a couple of players, and they can make a serious run. But they didn't do anything at the at trading stuff.
Skeens is so popular and so good. If he stays healthy and they don't lock him up and add to that, I think that might be the final straw where there's a straight up revolt on that franchise, to be honest.
Yeah, because every fifth day you're selling out wherever he's pitching. It's just he's that good. He's that type of player. I mean, when I knew he was playing, I seriously thought about taking a right turn and going to Pittsburgh when I was driving up that way.
I feel like I even tried to urge that.
You did.
I think a few times because I kept thinking about going myself.
I was excited when they made that trade to get him too from Toronto because we needed a good catcher at the time. I don't know as to Vegas wasn't a done deal or are they not already building a ballpark? No, Zach, they're not. Because the last I read was they had to come up with an X amount of money themselves to back it. And then Vegas was going to come up with the rest. But they had to show the money and not just say they have interested parties because that's all they have. Yeah, Billy Bean passing away.
Oh, that was a different Billy Bean.
Yeah.
That was the other one, not the Oakland A's guy.
Yeah.
2 Billy Beans in the 80s.
So when is he going to happen? Well, you know it's going to happen sometime. They all do it, but I don't know. There's a few pitchers that, haven't had it done, but it won't be a surprise, and it doesn't mean that's going to be a letdown. Players come back just as strong. I mean, Chapman is still throwing 103 miles an hour or something crazy. So he's stronger now than he was 2 years ago.
We'll see what DeGrom looks like when he comes back. Could be his third Tommy John he just had.
Yeah, and
so and he came back the second time throwing gas. So
I really think the sticky stuff hurt him, or when he took it away, because he needed it for the grip, and when he took it away, he just couldn't figure it out. I think that's what hurt him.
Who, DeGrom?
Yeah, it all kind of went hand in hand because he wasn't the only one. Glass now even said the same thing. He right afterwards his elbow went. He was like he couldn't grip the ball, and he felt it. So, I mean, it'd be interesting later when he writes his memoirs, what he says about that. It'd be nice to know about that. But the Skeens thing, man, he is just. I want to see him in Pittsburgh. That fan base deserves a playoff team. They deserve a player like Skeens and Ornell Cruz. They got some good players to really shine in a playoff picture.
I would love to see them in the playoffs unless they would match up with the Phillies. Then
right.
I'd prefer not to see it because that would scare the shit out of me.
Right. They have a beautiful stadium for night baseball. It's a beautiful place to watch a game on TV.
The stadium's awesome.
Yeah, I would love to go there. I haven't been there yet. It's a stadium I would love to go to. Yeah, I would love to see them in there. It's been a while, and I would love to see it. And same way with the Royals. I would love to see that Royals team, that young team, make the playoffs. Be so fun.
I think they're going to make it. They're pretty good.
Yeah, the Orioles, they got some good young that it's going to be fun in the playoffs to see some of these young talent again. It's setting up for fun down the road. Extended playoffs almost because all these players trying to get into the wild card. Pretty much all but one like division spot or two. I think the Yankees and Baltimore are battling. The Mariners and Astros are battling. But the rest are pretty much set. The Twins are making a little bit of a run, but I don't think they got enough time. Yeah, the Diamondbacks are definitely showing
One of the
They
scariest teams right now, I think, too.
they have three
The
good starters.
Padres. The Padres
Padres.
really good right now. They wouldn't be a
Yes.
bad futures bet for anyone who likes to bet like
Right.
do a little like NL Champions wager. It wouldn't shock
Right.
me. Their bullpen's really good. Their lineup's pretty good. They're playing really well.
Yeah, and they start like 6 shortstops. Something crazy like that in their fielding. Very, very stacked. Speaking of all this baseball talk, I did not get a chance for me and my father to record today, so that will not be tomorrow. We'll record tomorrow.
Well, the
evening.
ride to work is ruined tomorrow.
Yeah, you'll have it for Tuesday. I'll put it out tomorrow night. Me and him I was at work all day.
Well, that's what happens when you have the National in Chicago 3 straight years, and the National keeps getting bigger. And the biggest benefit about Chicago is the ease and the closeness of everything, but everyone descends upon the city, and then you have to spread out. So then the Uber finds out about it, and they have the national rate where they increase the fee by 10 times. So then Big Scott's got to spend his Sunday working 13 hours to save up just to pay for Uber rides.
We have got our place set up, so we already have a place for 2025. So that's been checked off.
Did Mike book? You did book it?
Yeah,
Okay.
He did put the booking down. That's why he got the address to how far and everything is, and I know almost exactly where that is. I stayed in a hotel right from there 1 year, right beside the Longhorn or whatever that steak restaurant is there. So we're good. It's not even a 5 to 10 minute ride in traffic, so it's not bad. So the future for me, I got one last question that I want to ask the class, and I've been thinking.
Shit, there ain't gonna be a quiz, is there?
No, just I need some. I really want to grade some of my Carters from a PSA registry. Really, really bad. And should I do the PSA, join them to just do that?
No.
I don't want to. There is
No.
not a group rate out there that's worth doing. You're better off. If you're going to do it, you're better off doing that and hopefully get a couple of friends to throw cards in with you or do it yourself.
No, unless you really want to like pat yourself on the back to be the number 1 Gary Carter guy, or like just like to, just want to, get your ego going. I wouldn't spend the money on it.
Yeah, it's just I have a lot of Carters and they look good. What's up, Clay?
They'll look good in CGC slabs.
Yeah, but that doesn't help me.
They all look the same. You'll be all right.
No registry. They do have a registry, but it's not the right registry.
Be the first. You're the number 1 CGC Gary Carter guy in the world.
Yeah,
that is true. You could do that.
That's get your ego.
Yeah, because it's just, man. Okay, I feel better now. Nobody spoke in over here, but I can't wait to get my SGC order back from Mike that Mike just showed off this week. I hit some home runs on that one. 2 of them, I will be selling most of them.
Flipping son of a bitch.
Yes, and I just sent Mike another stack where I'm selling 6 of the 7 that I sent you. I just want to get them graded. Do you figure the PSA and SGC registries will merge?
I don't think so, but it's not impossible. But
Right.
I wouldn't anticipate.
I'm just waiting in this year or the next where SGC is kind of just PSA South. I just feel it coming.
I would say when SGC is, if SGC is the same price to grade as PSA, then they will combine them. But the reality is PSA still wants the higher price for their stuff. And they just want to still grab part of the money that does go to the SGC. But if they're both the same price, then they combine the stuff.
I agree. All of them to me bobbles on their stupid upcharges. PSA is by far the worst. Where I don't know why you pay more and don't do anything different. It's the same slab, same thing. That's some bullshit ever. That's just a money grab because they see the money in the secondary market. They want part of it. Everybody has their hand out right now in this world of money capitalism, where if money's being made, everybody wants their slice of the pie. And it's nothing wrong with it. It's just us people at the bottom have to keep hanging out to everybody. I mean, it's just how it is. No big deal.
Programming note for the Mike O channel. We'll have another SGC reveal coming up. I would think as early as midweek. I'm pretty confident our order from the National will ship Monday.
I'm excited about that one too.
It's in post grading processing. Some of the images started popping in. They didn't all pop in, so I would think that I'll probably get billed charged on Monday, and I would think it would ship Monday. Worst case scenario, Tuesday, and usually they ship it pretty well where it comes in 2 days. So Wednesday, Thursday, you'll get a reveal. Be 105 cards and 105 cards and a lot of fun stuff. I know Gary Scott, Bink Scott, he has a good selection of cards in there, a nice mix. Yeah. And then I had some, and then Mike Fabian, Dave, yourself, some stuff we picked up at the National. So nothing crazy expensive, nothing probably super high grade in terms of old stuff, but still really neat stuff. Should be a good variety.
Yeah, I'm just hoping for a 7, 8, and a 10. Those are the three.
I just want authentic. Oh no, 1, and I would like to get like a 2 or 3 on that Bowman Campy that I sent in. I don't know if we got any footballs in it, bro. Am I cursing a lot? It might because I worked all day. When I'm at work, man, I get that manufacturing mouth, I like to call it.
There has been a little more cursing in this episode. I think me, Dave, and you, I think all have offenses, so we all might get charged.
Yeah, I won't be.
I never use bad language on these ever.
Oh no, I might be demonetized.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Guess you're gonna have to work overtime next weekend too.
Yeah. So I already got it scheduled. So if y'all haven't, please hit the thumbs up button or thumbs down, whichever one you feels good to you. I don't, just as long as you interact. Our buddy Sanderson Toor will be paying for it tonight. In crumble cookies. All the currency is bullshit. Yeah. So my future is basically downsizing. A, because I'm in an apartment, and B, I'm really focused on what I am. Dave does have a baseball card.
Yeah.
I downsizing, being more focused. Mets, Alonso, David Wright. I have a Mount Rushmore cards. I have a few guys that when I come across them or whatever, like Mike Trout or Buster Posey, I hang on to. I do have a nice catcher, all catcher gear PC. So I that's kind of where I'm at, and I have given into the dark side of selling cards. Not like nearly. Mike, how many cards you have now on
probably like 46,400 or so.
Okay. Yeah. I have
More
right
on the
now. I
way.
have 3 on eBay. I got 5 more going on when I get a chance to put them on, and I got a several thousand on Sport Lots. And if you don't keep, you know, feeding the beast over there, you get kind of lost in the shuffle because more is better, definitely on there. So, oh, that's right. I did see that refrigerator Perry Dave when in the preview for that one, Mike.
The rookie,
Yeah.
oddball rookie.
Battery, welcome to the apartment. Yeah, I had a nice house in Iowa, and moved to the fancy city in the East Coast. So that's gonna probably wrap it up for tonight. I thank all of y'all for choosing to come on. And quit slacking might beat at least 50K. Yeah, he's got to keep up with that. And till next time, like, share, tell a friend. You got anything coming up, Dave, on your channel, or anything you want to?
No, I mean I got an oddball Jose Canseco set coming in from the '80s, like a rookie set. But that's it. I don't think I have anything else I bought.
Does it?
No, it's just I'm selling some stuff and trying to load up the eBay a little bit and get rid of all that little stuff that doesn't.
So, Mike, we're still doing sales on Tuesday. Have you thought about doing another night? I know you talked about it before.
I would like to do maybe some special event sale on a weekend, like a Sunday afternoon, but it just kind of depends. I've bought out I bought a bunch of stuff from auctions and some bulk lots, and I probably have more stuff that I can handle right now. So I'm trying to maybe send off a few things for consignment, continue to list stuff on eBay. If anyone's looking for really cheap team lots, mostly common stuff, base cards from this year's stuff, but perhaps could be good gifts or something like that. Those are going up on eBay tonight as auctions. So couple hundred cards for a couple bucks probably, but yeah, we'll see. Tuesday nights, try and do as much as I can. Can't do as much of the new release stuff because it's just so pricey. I should have some more finest for Tuesday or some finest for Tuesday, but the products are just so
I know you like that
pricey now.
set. I am not digging that set at all. I don't like it. I don't know. It just doesn't do anything for me. I can't even find a Pete Alonso for it, but I'm sure it's out there. I'm sure he must be one of the rares or something. So, but I don't like. It's too plain. Even with all the color, like you said, it doesn't have like a team logo. It just doesn't. I don't know. It just doesn't do for the finest of the past. That I don't like it. But anyway, that's just me. So until next time, like, share, tell a friend. Welcome to all new subscribers. Thank you for choosing this for your Sunday night viewing pleasure. Until next time, see ya.
See ya.